Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Tyler Thigpen, and I'm based in Atlanta, Georgia. And we are very excited to be sharing about our school's learning models. And this is the team that's gathered here today, and you're going to hear briefly from each one of these individuals, Brittany, Amber, Caleb, and Denise. And we welcome your feedback. We're going to share our learning model, and we're excited to see your questions and ideas. And thank you for the opportunity to share. And we love the opportunity to learn from you as well. We at the Forest Schools, which is both an in-person and an online environment, we are not trying to improve upon the traditional industrial age model of schooling, but we are actually trying to reimagine school. When you think about different industries that exist in our various countries over the last 100 years and how they have changed dramatically, it's remarkable. I mean, my brother-in-law is struggling with recently struggled with cancer and has overcome it. And just to think about the differences and advancements in technology now, even 10 years ago, are really remarkable. When you look at the communications industry, obviously the amount of change that's occurred over the last 100 years is remarkable. And the fact that we are able to across the world have a webinar like this together is amazing. And just the world of work and how that has changed dramatically. But when you look at education in the United States, for example, and potentially in Qatar and elsewhere, 100 years ago, this is what classrooms looked like in the United States. 50 years ago, this is what it looked like. And unfortunately, even still today, this is what school can look like. I actually asked my daughter, I have 4 children, all of whom attend our school. My oldest daughter is 17. I asked her, how many features of school can you find that are consistent across the time periods? And her answer was, oh. So in order to see the leap in motivation and outcomes that students deserve, we believe that we must engineer a new design of school. So again, what we are trying to do at the Forest School and the Forest School Online is not improving upon the traditional teacher-led model, but it is something new entirely. Our mission is that each person who enters our doors will find a calling that will change the world. A few key beliefs that animate our work are every child is a genius and can change the world. We also believe learning is better in an intentionally diverse, character forging environment. And we believe that when rightly supported and motivated, learners can actually direct their own learning at their own pace. A few key features about our schools: we have Socratic guides and not teachers. So our caring adults in the building rarely explain things and instead respond to learners with questions and push their thinking and help them do learning on their own. We have mixed stage studios, not classrooms. We have portfolios and exhibitions, not grades. Instead of having rules, we have contracts and covenants, and we ask questions instead of lecturing. We don't have homework. We have lots of hands-on quest or project-based learning, as well as the latest in gamified responsive e-learning platforms. And students learn at their own pace, and apprenticeships begin in middle school and continue throughout high school. Our school is designed not only to cultivate traditional academics such as math, English, civilization, and science, but also learning to be a great person, social and emotional skills, learning to do key marketplace skills like entrepreneurship, story arts, creativity, and design thinking, as well as learning to learn. And lastly, learning to live together. These are the pillars of our school. And today, for this webinar, we're going to give you a snapshot of some of the signature learning experiences that we have designed to cultivate these outcomes. And so what I'd love to do is share an overview video of our school, and then I'll turn it over to my colleague Amber to talk about that first learning to be category.
I'm so excited to be at the Forest School, not for just one reason, there are multiple. But the one thing, if I had to choose, would be that the kids are excited to be here. It's a place where kids can come and be themselves and really be exposed to what life has to offer.
The traditional things that school offers, this school doesn't. And that's what I love about it. I think that's what draws people towards the school.
I think just how value-driven the school is, that's what people are looking for now. The reason I reached out about the Forest School is because it really valued their individual learning rather than everybody having the same kind of learning.
At the Forest School, we're not trying to improve on the traditional model of schooling. Instead, we are passionate about whole model transformation. We have found that families who come to the Forest School are also interested in a completely new design of school for this day and age.
It's something exciting, it's something different, and I think that's exactly what our children need, and that's exactly what we needed as parents.
One of the biggest takeaways for me, as well as some of the parents, was, oh my gosh, what if we had this opportunity when we were children?
Who knows where we'd be, if we had a school like this.
If there had been a school like this when I was growing up, I probably wouldn't have skipped school as much.
Some of the unique things about the Forest School: we don't have grades, and instead we have badges. We don't have teachers, and instead we have guides. We also have no homework. Travel is also encouraged among our families. We don't have an emphasis on tests at the school, and instead an emphasis on real-world projects that we call quests. One of the other unique things about this school is that we don't have students. Instead, we have what we call learners and heroes who are on a hero's journey. We start from the belief that every child is a genius and can change the world.
They're all on a journey. It's a school like no other. The kids themselves want to know more and be better. They want to step beyond themselves and explore the world in a different way.
Over the course of a year, our learners are embedded in an intentionally diverse learning environment. And we think about diversity from 6 perspectives: economic diversity, racial diversity, school background diversity, religious diversity, age and gender diversity.
Being in an intentionally diverse environment, students are able to learn from everyone about culture, about religion, about beliefs. That's so important because when we go out into the real world, that's what it looks like.
At this school, we give learners authority and autonomy and control. We actually guide the learners here at the school to set their own norms. Guides are like coaches, mentors. They're almost like game makers. They create challenges and quests for our learners that can really inspire them to have deep learning.
The guides don't tell the kids how they're supposed to think. They encourage the kids to think on their own. How to work in groups, how to deal with conflict, being able to make decisions, and that sometimes those decisions aren't the best.
Are passions discovered, or are they created?
The role of the guide is simple. It's not to teach and explain, it's to help push their thinking. It's to help them think more deeply about the challenges that they're facing as learners, and it's to inspire them as they set and pursue robust goals for their life.
Just to know that there are kids out there that want to take this journey is amazing. Like, so amazing.
Can you guys hear me okay? Fantastic. Good evening and welcome to the welcome celebration for the 2nd ever year of the Forest School. We're so fired up about the year. Honestly,
the Forest School really has cultivated a whole new community.
Returning families, I really encourage you to meet new families.
I feel like this is a new community.
It kind of feels like a family. Everybody feels comfortable there. It doesn't matter, what profession they're in or what they do. It's kind of like we're all there for the kids. We're all there for each other.
We're very like-minded. We're a tight-knit group. You're not going to find a lot of helicopter parents.
And that's something we want for your 18-year-old to have.
Parents are thoroughly involved in the learning process of the heroes.
A parent meeting is a great opportunity for parents to come and make sense of the learning environment together because it is so different. It's also an incredible opportunity for our parents to come and share their own expertise.
The parent meetings, oh my gosh.
Morning, y'all.
All the parents getting together and just brainstorming for their children.
So we're not going to stay seated for long.
Our parents bring a wealth of experience in terms of raising amazing young people, and we try and step back and create a space for them to sort of share ideas willingly and steal ideas shamelessly.
All right, y'all. Can I invite you back into the circle?
If you were to come and see our school in the middle of a school day, you would walk in and you would see learners in unpredictable places. And they're all going to be working on different things.
Kind of impressive and surprising what happens when learners are put in control of their own education. Awe-inspiring, really.
In this learning environment, they're directing their own learning. They've already set their goals about what they're going to be working on, how they're going to be working on it, with whom they're going to be working, and where they're going to be working on it. And they're living into those choices.
I always hear about how everyone gathers and gathers for lunch and gathers for discussions.
We have PE classes featuring coaches from the area, workouts and competitive games. We also get out of the school quite often and try to get our hands dirty with real-world science projects.
A field trip is a great opportunity to meet external experts.
My favorite thing about the Martin Luther King Center is the architecture.
We have screen-free time.
They're free at any time to take a brain break.
During the middle of their core skills, they have a chance to go outside and play Foursquare or shoot hoops.
They like the freedom to be able to get out and explore. Kids love not being tied to a desk and a chair.
We feel our school is situated in an amazing part of the world. We're in the south side of Atlanta, in a city called Fayetteville. The name of our neighborhood is Trilith, and Trilith is a town that's actually purpose-built for makers, creators, and storytellers.
We're right across from Trilith Studios, and that provides a great opportunity for collaboration.
Honestly, just the vibe. We really want all of our learners to be experts at storytelling. What better than having one of the most compelling storytellers in the entire world right across the street?
This is most definitely a school for heroes, and when I think about it, I imagine each of our heroes coming in with capes on. Hello. And on the back of the cape, instead of it being Superman or Wonder Woman, it is who they are.
Kids are capable of so much more.
If you want something different and you want to see your son or daughter move further, quicker, and get exposed to greater things that you have been exposed to, the Forest School is where it's at.
It's preparing him for life, and we wouldn't trade that for the world.
Coming to the Forest School has given us confidence as parents and definitely given our daughter confidence in where she's headed next.
After attending the Forest School, my learners will absolutely be ready for college. And I think they'll be ready for college in a lot of ways past just what goes on their transcript.
Graduates should have a set of full 21st century skills and social and emotional learning skills and have networking abilities and capabilities, as well as real life working skills. Being able to self-manage, being able to control their emotions, being timely.
We are preparing students to go out into the world and to live a life that reflects their passion and that they are able to give back to the world what they are passionate about.
In the end, what we're going to celebrate is graduates from this school who have not just learned academics, but have learned how to be great people, who have learned how to do fantastic things, and have also learned how to live together.
All right, guys, good morning. Thanks so much for being here. I am going to talk to you a little bit. My name is Amber Bryant, and I'm the elementary guide here. I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about our learning to be. This is our social emotional piece to our school. So there are three main kind of experiences or signature learning experiences that we offer. One is the Dream Teams, and this is an opportunity for heroes to build that social capital network, for them to select people who are around them that they interact with daily. This can be family members, coaches, civic leaders, And these dream teams meet twice a year. And this is an opportunity for heroes to discuss where they are academically and how their team can kind of help them reach their goals. Then we do something called MARs, which are mid-action reviews, and AARs. Those are our after-action reviews. Those are times when heroes can think deeply about the work that they've accomplished halfway through the year and then up until the end of the year. They can reflect over their favorite moments, opportunities for improvement, and these are usually presented to their dream team so they can share those accomplishments and goals with their dream teams, and then think of ways that guides, their team members can help them to actually reach those goals. And then finally, we do something that is super important for that social emotional piece, which is circles. And this allows for increased levels of connection and opportunity to kind of strengthen those relationships within our studios, or what we call our studios are our classrooms. Circles are times to have a safe place to reflect, give your voice to opinions and things that you've seen in the studio, and maybe even discuss some tough issues that you face with other heroes. It's also a time to kind of learn more about one another and ways to strengthen and have difficult conversations. So this is a great way for our heroes to practice social emotional growth throughout the school year.
Circles is a time where learners can come together and have a safe space to share what they're feeling, what their challenges are, maybe what some of their successes are, but to have a safe space each week for them to empathize with other learners and to feel safe to share what they're feeling.
So in elementary, circles are really important because these are young learners who have not learned to express themselves yet. They don't really have the words to say how I'm feeling. So this is a time to learn what those emotions are, what they feel like, how it makes me feel. So it's a time for them to get their feelings out, one, but actually learn techniques to express those feelings. Instead of having a tantrum tantrum, what do? You know, so those are opportunities for them to role play a little bit and figure it out then and learn how to name those emotions.
So during circles, we gather in a circle. We start our circle time by kind of giving a check, like doing a check-in, like, hey, here's how I'm doing today. Like I'm feeling great, or maybe I'm not doing that well. So everybody around the circle will just kind of share with how they're feeling in that particular day. Then we go into what we call our circle work. So a certain number of heroes will have done some work prepared for the circle. And it's a chance for them to do a couple of things. It could be a chance for them just to share some pieces of identity. Like, hey, if you really know me, you would know these 3 things about me. That's an example of circle work, of really kind of diving deeper and a chance to say, like, I want to share myself with you. It could also be relational. So circle work could be you've had a conflict with someone in the studio, and you've kind of behind the scenes have gone through a process of working through that conflict, and you bring it up to the community during circle to say, like, hey, last week when you said that thing, it really hurt my feelings, and we've talked about that, but going forward, could you do this? And it's a way for the community to kind of validate the relational work that the other heroes are doing.
During circles, I think learners need to feel safe, number one, and to know that we're creating an environment that is safe for them where they can say what they need to say, but we don't push anybody to speak if they don't want to. We will allow them to journal sometimes. So if you aren't participating, maybe write down your thoughts and it'll give me an opportunity to read them later. But they have still kind of participated in the moment. Facilitating circles can be a bit challenging for the guides just because elementary heroes all want to talk. Everybody wants to get their point across. And so thinking time-wise, you've got to allow space for people to be open and honest, but for everybody to have a chance to experience that. So with circles, sometimes we may only have 3 or 4 heroes share at a time, and next time you'll have the opportunity.
So circles are really about kind of building our muscles at being vulnerable with each other and growing together as a studio.
Hello, everyone.
My name is Brittany Tolles, and I am the high school guide and school administrator here at the Forest School. And thank you for just spending time with us and allowing us to share our model with you. Today, I'm going to talk about our learning to do, which are our marketplace skills here at the school. So the first thing is quests. Actually, one of my favorite signature learning experiences at the school. Quests are real world problems that we take and we try and build something where the kids can go and do hands-on projects to learn about those. For example, we did a golf cart quest where the heroes had to build pathways for the city of Fayetteville who wanted to introduce golf cart paths around the entire city. So they developed the plans for those and then pitched them to the city council. Another one is entrepreneurship. They had to build a business from the ground up and pitch it in a Shark Tank to see if people were really interested in if that business would thrive. Another example is they planned a murder mystery dinner where they had to build the entire script from start to finish and then deliver the murder mystery dinner to their parents and experts and visitors at the school. So quests are real world problems that we try and solve for. Apprenticeships, another one of my favorites at the school, where they get to get their hands dirty, literally, and do 20 or 40-hour apprenticeships with people in professions that they're interested in, but also not interested in. For example, one of our students was able to build a house across the street because she's really interested in architecture. Another one did one with a dentist because he thought he wanted to be a dentist. Another one did one with a videographer, a yoga instructor, and also movie production. So we challenge them to try things that they are interested in, but also things that they are not interested in. And lastly, story arts. Story arts is our English at the school. So we currently work with professionals in the field to create different challenges for them pertaining to different genres. So it could be lyric writing, it could be musicals, it could be creating storyboards for different companies, poetry, whatever that might be. We work with professionals in the field so that they get real world feedback right away from those people. So story arts is English at the school and a way for them to become great storytellers when they leave the school.
So because of our proximity to and collaboration with the movie studios across the street, we really value storytelling. We want every learner at the Forest School to be excellent storytellers. And so the purpose of the storytelling learning experience is to get practice with that through multiple mediums, whether it's video, spoken word, writing, you name it.
They have to write one draft, their first draft, then it has to be revised by another hero in the studio. Then they have to go back and make changes and corrections to that revision. Then it has to be revised by somebody else in the studio. And then also too, they have to go back and revise that. So it's a 3 to 4 step process that they have to go back and make changes and alter their writing.
And then we actually get feedback from experts. And we send it off and it's graded. And they're given sort of world-class feedback from teachers from around the US actually. And they take that feedback and they incorporate it. And so along the process of storytelling, they've actually written 3 or 4 different versions of it, each one that's better and hopefully more compelling. And then of course, often they have a public audience that they're sharing those stories with too.
Usually we're given an assignment like writing a short story or making a podcast. And then over the course of weeks, we'll work on it and like a little bit by little bit. And then at the end, we'll present our writing, get feedback on it, and then send it in.
When guides plan storytelling, it's important that they think through, okay, first of all, what's the genre of storytelling that learners are going to be practicing here? It's important for them to think through what is the public, authentic audience that they're going to be sharing their storytelling work with. It's important for guides to think about how many rounds of revision are they going to be expecting and who's going to be giving them feedback. And lastly, with storytelling, guides need to think about how the experience is going to allow for learners to be super creative. When learners go into storytelling, they need to be open for lots of feedback, They need to be emboldened, like encouraged to just share their genuine thoughts and perspectives. They need to be open to trying new genres of storytelling that they may not have tried in the past. And learners, lastly, need to be ready to share their work publicly and to see how it lands with people and to see how others receive it.
Hello, everyone. My name is Caleb. I am the middle school guide here at the Forest School. One of our key pillars is learning to learn. This is the typical school stuff, but in our school, we teach learners to teach themselves anything. So this ability, the ability to self-teach and self-learn applies to any content you want to learn. 3 key areas that we use to do that. First is core skills. This is a big chunk of time in the morning. So I've seen a couple of questions in the chat about schedule. We have 2 or 3 hours every day called core skills, and this covers your basic reading, writing, and math. We use a lot of e-learning platforms for this. We have time and guidance on reading as well. So this is a time for each learner to kind of choose what they're going to work on, how long they're going to work on it, where they're going to work on it, what kind of resources they need to feel successful. So core skills starts with a goal setting period where they will say, this is what I'm going to knock out today. And then it will move into that second piece of running partners. They actually have someone next to them, a peer, that they set goals with that will give them feedback and encouragement and advice and kind of serve as a resource partner on how they might accomplish it. Or if they get stuck, kind of help point them to some solutions. So running partners are baked into all of our levels from elementary up through high school. Someone that you can go to help you set goals for the day and persevere through meeting your goals. And a key part of our learning to learn is learners exploring what they're super interested in. Like if you could teach yourself anything, what would it be? So part of our philosophy is that you should be able to design your own course. In high school, you have to design your own course. So the customization is part of it. You have to kind of go through and build the muscles of designing a course to teach yourself and peers something of interest and value. And at the lower levels in elementary and middle school, that's something that you can do if you want to. If you are super curious to build a course that teaches you how to be an awesome soccer player or to teach yourself to speak Portuguese or how to code, you have the ability to do that. And we have frameworks and guidance on walking a learner through that process from beginning to end.
Imagine you had the chance to explore anything that you wanted to, or get good at anything you wanted to get good at, and that to count as school. That is design your own course. And so we as guides have set up a process at the Forest School whereby a learner can pitch their idea to a panel of experts. And it's hard to get their plans passed by this panel of experts, but when they do, a few things are going to be true about that experience. One is it's going to be deep learning. We know it's going to be mastery-based and that they're going to learn deep disciplinary knowledge, as well as we also know it's going to be connected to something that they're interested in. So they're going to be motivated, and the way that the plan that they have is going to sustain that motivation.
Design your own course is a way for them to take something that they love, a passion that they have, and turn it into a course at the school that anyone can take. So they are able to become content creators, and then they also have to take the course that they create.
In the middle school, design your own course is optional, and in the high school, every high schooler before they graduate actually has to design 2 of their own courses, and then those actually become a part of a bank of courses that other high schoolers can take if they want. They actually have to use their learning to help a person or a group of people. So they create a project where they can use what they're learning to make the world a better place. And that actually motivates them tremendously because they see the relevance of what it is that they're learning. It's something they're already interested in, and they get a chance to help other people. So they're pretty excited usually.
They find something that they want to do that's not currently already provided, and they come up with a good way of doing it and then they make it, and then they have to present it and go through various forms of it until it's finally approved. They take the class and they get a credit for it.
If someone was really interested in architecture, they could go online and make a course about architecture and learn more about it, so where someone else behind them could go and take that course that they made and learn more about it also. And usually they're electives, but yeah, they're a lot of fun. I've done 2 this year.
What's important for guides to know is they should manage expectations with learners that it's going to take them a while to actually get their course approved. It's important for guides to be firm about whether or not the pitch meets the checklist for a design your own course. And it's important for guides to be knowledgeable with learning science and to know whether or not what's being presented is actually going to achieve deep learning or not. It's important for guides to reach out to their network. So for example, we had one learner pitch a course in animation, and one of our guides reached out across the street to the movie studios to someone they knew who was an expert in animation and could give real-world feedback on the platforms, the content that this learner was producing. And they joined our panel of experts and weighed in with their expertise on whether or not that would be good. So guides are really the ones who connect with all those experts in the world to add that, content expertise to the process.
It's important for learners to know that it's going to take time, that you're going to struggle, but the reward at the end is going to be so great. And that is going to come through some tears, some laughter, some excitement, but at the end of the day, you're going to walk away a better person.
You think about traditional schooling, and in a traditional school, oftentimes we think about receiving or getting information that's being passed down to us from the people who are older in the room. I think in an information age, a new way to think about school is that as guides, we manage the quality of learning through multiple channels. School is actually a platform, a place where you can go and learn almost anything in the world that you want. And Design Your Own Course provides students with the opportunity to do that.
Hi, I am Denise, and I am the Spark Guide. I teach ages 4 through 7. And I am so thankful to be here with you today and share the Forest School with you. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about learn to live together. And there's 3 elements to it. And we do 360 feedback here, where learners have a chance to get together and give their honest feedback of how you may have done during a quest as a group. If you were in a group, they could give their honest feedback. And sometimes, you feel uncomfortable getting feedback. I don't know, you've probably experienced it yourselves in a job or something. And you have to give this honest feedback and learn how to accept it as a good and give back to others and learn ways in which we can help each other. In civilization, it's a chance for us to explore history, social studies, government, and cultures all around the world. Through different experiences we may create, through the curriculum. As a matter of fact, the Spark Studio had a chance this year to have a video pal. Instead of a pen pal, we were video pals, going back and forth to China, and we would ask each other different questions about what it's like to live there, go to school there, and just kind of live vicariously through them and us. That was a really beautiful experience. And conflict resolution is just learning how to handle your own feelings, others' feelings, giving each person a chance to talk about the way they're feeling, how they're feeling, what they want to change. And we have different steps we follow. In the Spark Studio, we start with what we call a peace table. And each person has a chance to speak to each other, and they get to have their peace, and then they cannot leave the peace table until they resolve the conflict and declare peace. And they sort of learn that way first, and then it moves forward at each level.
Conflict resolution is one of the most powerful, often behind the scenes signature learning experiences that happens at the school. Because if you're gonna learn to live together, what that means is there's an inherent commitment to working things out.
In the Spark Studio, for conflict resolution, we have what is called the peace table. it has a flower on it. We need to figure out what happened, where it went wrong, what do you need? And they're not to leave the table until they have resolved their conflict. Sometimes it takes a guide mentoring them and how to speak to each other. After a while throughout the year, they just go to the peace table and they learn how to resolve their conflicts.
Heroes have the opportunity for, I think it's level 4s, have the opportunity to really dive deep into conflict resolution, and it's a part of their badge plan. So they have 2 opportunities where they have to be mediators between 2 of their peers. And it just gives them the opportunity to sit down, learn kind of how to mediate, what that looks like, and what to expect. So they have an actual badge that they have to earn in conflict resolution.
So conflict resolution in the high school. First, the 2 learners need to speak with each other, first and foremost. Then after that, they bring in a guide, typically, and I just help them reflect and think through, literally. And I pose questions, let them both speak, and then try and come to a conclusion. And if that doesn't help, then we bring Tyler in. And if that doesn't help, then we bring parents in. So it's kind of a 4-step process.
And the goal is restoration. The goal is redemption. The goal is forgiveness. The goal is leaning in and getting to know and having compassion. Now, is that process always going to yield deep, trusting friendships? No, because that's life. And through conflict resolution processes, we can actually learn who are our close friends and who are not our close friends. And that's revealing and helpful as well. But what we will do, the standard, is that we will learn how to live together. And the conflict resolution process is one of the most powerful ways that we can do that.
Well, that is it in terms of what we are sharing about our learning model with you all. And we'd love to open it up in our final few minutes for question and answer. Please feel free to drop a question in the chat or come off mute and let us know.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Amani. We're at Academiyati in Qatar. And amazing stuff that you guys are doing. A bit similar to the environment that we have. One question that we would like to ask is about your conflict resolution program and the peace table. How do you, as the adults or the guides, do you facilitate it? Especially we're talking elementary age level. And do you guys facilitate it? Are there particular protocols or approaches that you have found are quite successful and that you like to follow? Because at the age that we have lots and lots of little conflicts, and we want to know how to support them resolve these conflicts. So what tips could you give us?
Amber and Denise, do y'all want to take this one?
Yeah, sure. So our heroes kind of go through a process that is posted in the studio, so they see the steps that they have to go through to resolve the conflict. So before usually they even come to us, they have kind of talked it out between themselves. But if they do have to go to the peace table, we have a quiet place in elementary where they can go separately, talk to one another. Each of them have to be respectful and let one talk at a time so they are able to get their views out. And then before they are able to leave, they have to actually come up with a solution of what that looks like for us to be successful in the studio and for us to move past this. What do I need from you? What do you need from me? And then do you understand what they just told you they needed? And how can we get that accomplished? So sometimes the guide is involved, sometimes the guide is not involved. And usually we are there as just kind of a quiet support. So they feel confident and that they're in a place of a safe kind of place to speak their part. I don't know if you want to add to that, Denise.
No, I think that you hit it. That was good.
Thank you.
Other questions? Gabriel asked the question in the chat, about our badge system. We have a blog on our website, and there are a few posts about the badge system and how that works. And then we also have, we haven't mentioned it here, but an Institute for Self-Directed Learning where we partner with public schools, especially in the United States, but some independent schools in the United States and abroad, to help them move towards learner-led models and away from more teacher-led models. And in some of our offerings there, we give a much greater detail behind the scenes look at the badge system. Hanan asked the question in the chat, how do we set expectations, for example, for what respect means? Maybe I can just briefly answer as the head of school, and then guides, if one of you wants to share how you do it in the studio. But as a head of school, I keep the vision ahead of the families and the learners that the expectation is 100% of people, whether they are alive or dead, present or not present, will be respected. And that our pillar is learning to live together. And so until we get to a place where people have owned their part of a wrongdoing and apologized and asked how they can make up to another learner for the wrong that's been done, then we still have work to do. But guides, anything you would say about how we set expectations?
Yeah, I would chime in on that and say that we define like what respect is, right? Because for some people it might be different, but we first have them set expectations for themselves, right? And what respect look like for them, and then we kind of go from there.
I'll add a little bit to that as well, because at the beginning of the year, heroes create a contract, and that in itself kind of provides a framework for what respect in the studio looks like. How will I talk to my fellow heroes? How will I act when I'm at lunch? Those kinds of things are discussed in the beginning of the year, so they kind of have a guideline to go by to.
Great. Other questions? Ala?
Hi guys, how are you? I'm Ala, also from Academia T. We were also wondering about your planning time. So if your learners leave at 3, when do you usually get time to plan ahead and talk about quests and your circle time, and what are you gonna approach next?
Caleb, you want to share about that?
Yeah, so we kind of tackle it in a couple different ways. One, we are planning throughout the day. So as learners are kind of cranking their work, we're also kind of planning, what tomorrow looks like, or next week, or even a month down the road, depending on what we're working on. So some of it is just like individual, like grabbing time where you can. And that comes with practice and kind of learning how to move in the rhythms of the studio. Part of it is teamwork too. So we have a Monday meeting after school every Monday where we kind of collaborate on larger scale things. So if we're planning a quest, which might impact other studios, there's some collaboration with Tyler. So there's a process that we'll go through and kind of plan out, if we're doing a project months from now, kind of what it looks like, what kind of experts do we need to line up, those kinds of things. And then some of it too is reactive. So for circles or for launches, like what we haven't talked about, but when we have discussions with our studios, some of it's topical or addressing things that in the studio. So it's a fair mix of daily planning, kind of scheduled weekly planning, and then being reactive to what's going on in the studio.
I'll also add to that, we built in last year into our school schedule, I think it was 3 days after our session, or 1 day, or 3 times a year after our session, that we'd have a guide planning day, so that at the end of the session, we can, look at things that need to be approved as far as bad plans, but then also plan for the next session moving forward. And then some of us work, over breaks, but we typically try and not take too much work home with us.
We want to wrap it up in the next few minutes. Maybe time for 1 or 2 more questions. Great. Well, if there are no more questions, we just want to express our gratitude for the chance to share. It's fun for us even to see some of these videos, a few of which were filmed a year or more ago, and see the growth that's happened in our heroes, our learners, since that time, and also to hear your questions. And it's instructive for us to hear where your interest lies. Thank you for the kind words in the chat. As I mentioned in the chat, we also have an institute for self-directed learning, which can be accessed at selfdirect.school if we can ever collaborate together. Khatija and Clara, thank you for this opportunity, and I'll turn it back over to you all.
Thank you so much. This has been great. We'll close it out here and added links in the chat. So thanks so much to the Forest School team, and looking forward to seeing everyone at the LEAP Summit tomorrow. Bye.